Welcome to Garden of Lights. I'm Susan Howington, Family Consumer Science Agent with the Henry County Cooperative Extension, partnership with the University of Georgia Cooperative Extension. Today we're going to talk about tomatoes. We're going to make a wonderful salad, and we're going to also hear from Frank Hancock, our Agriculture and Natural Resource Agent, and he's going to talk a little bit about the community gardens. So we'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden of Lights. Welcome back to Garden of Lights. Today we're talking about tomatoes, and you know, it's one of my favorite vegetables, or some people say it's a fruit, but I think it's a vegetable. And you know, I love tomatoes, and I just can't wait till they're coming in for the summer, and I really am sad when they're going out for the fall, but I enjoy every minute of them from whatever I'm going to prepare with them, but they're so good for us. They are low in fat, they're low in saturated fat and cholesterol, they are low in sodium, they are wonderful in vitamins A and C. And this is to me like a medium tomato. So one medium tomato, you can eat this whole tomato for about 30 calories. You just can't beat that. So if you really want to make your day just a tomato day, you could really eat tomatoes all day and eat less calories than you'd probably eat all day just by eating tomatoes. So just think about that. Now, as far as selecting the tomatoes, you know, when you get them out of your garden, you do want to get them where they're kind of ripe. And when I say ripe, this is a wonderful red ripe. So you're looking for firm, good color, no bruises. And these tomatoes, after you pick them, or if you're looking in the grocery store, make sure they're ripe. If they're not ripe, then you can, as far as storing them, you can store these tomatoes for about 1 week. And you want to make sure you don't do it in direct sunlight, because you want to make sure the tomato is going to be all great colors as far as that red color, the shiny look, and hopefully you won't get any bruises. About after a week though, hopefully you had that tomato and you've eaten it sometime during that week. But if you need to put it in the refrigerator after 1 week, that's what you want to do. Now, you don't want to put your tomatoes in the refrigerator at first, because it takes the flavor away from the tomato. So as long as you can leave it out, it's even better. So just keep that in mind when you're picking them, even at your home or at the grocery store. Don't take them from the grocery store and put them right in your refrigerator. Leave them out if you can, if they're not too ripe. Now, if they're going too ripe, you got to put them in the refrigerator to keep them and prolong them. And you know, tomatoes freeze wonderfully. So if you're looking for a way to keep them even longer, and the fall comes and you want that same tomato that you had in your garden, or one you picked at a farmer's market, great way to keep them longer is to freeze them. So when we come back, we're going to see about that community garden with Frank. And I am so excited about all that gardening that they're doing, and the wonderful beds they're making as far as the different plants they're going to put in it. I know it's going to be a lot of tomatoes out there. So we'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden of Lights.
Okay, today is plant day in the community garden. So the gardeners are in here planting their garden beds, utilizing a little weed barrier cloth to control the weeds later on, trying to get their plants spaced like they ought to be, and we're just sort of supervising what they're doing here today. Some of them brought enough plants to plant a whole acre of stuff to put in one of these little beds, so we're sharing that. But that's what's going on today, is the garden. You know, we've talked about the garden in the past. We've done our soil samples. We've prepared our beds, and now we're putting the vegetables in. And that's what we want to talk about today. It's time to get your stuff planted and get the tomatoes growing. We've had a little cool weather here leading up to this. But I think we're good. From the middle of April on, there shouldn't be any more frost, and so I think everything's going to be fine. As far as the weather's concerned, we're putting some squash in here. We're going to be working to control the squash vine borers as we go along through the season. Same with the tomatoes. We're going to We're growing a few determinate tomatoes in some of these beds, and then others are indeterminate. We got heirlooms, we got hybrids, a little bit of everything. So we'll just keep an eye on it as we go along here through the summer. It's a lot of folks helping each other. This is a community garden. These folks all work together. They know each other, and they take care of each other's beds. And if somebody can't come, somebody else will water it. And that's what's going on today. And I think now we're going to go see what Susan's got going on in the kitchen.
Welcome back to Garden Delights. Today we're going to be making a Mexican salad, but you know, for the Mexican salad we have to have tomatoes. So I have 4 medium tomatoes up here to cut, and I also have a spring salad already in my bowl, so I have that ready. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up my tomatoes, and I'm going to kind of get the ends off real quick because I want me a flat surface. So if I do that real quick, I will have me a surface, and these smell really good. And you know, as the summer goes, when you buy tomatoes at the grocery store, to me they even smell better as you go. So you can cut this however you want to. I'm just going to kind of make little wedges out of it, like little slices, I guess I should say, maybe 1/2 inch or so. So I'm going to do all those like that. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to slice them again. Now, you know, any kind of vegetable, you have to make sure that you wash it. So these tomatoes have been washed. So just make sure you wash whatever you're going to be using, because you know, anything outside, especially if you're in your garden area, make sure you wash it. But anything you buy at the produce section of a farmer's market or at your grocery store, make sure you wash it. And making sure I don't have an end in there somewhere. And to me, I don't know, it's just when you start slicing those tomatoes, they smell so, so good. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is slice it up, but I'm not going to add my tomatoes at the beginning of the salad. I want to add it toward the end because I want that lovely look of a tomato. So I want to try to do that toward the end. Now I'm kind of slicing these, so it's really up to you on how you want to do this. If you don't want all the juice, like if you have a cutting board, you can even put the tomatoes like a paper towel underneath to kind of catch some of your juice. And that's the reason why I'm going to cut them up and let them kind of sit for a second, because I know if I do that, some of this juice is going to release. Now if you want some of the juice, it's okay too to do that. So it's up to you on how to do that part of it. I'm going to keep on slicing them up. And if you want more tomatoes, feel free to add more. And if you want to slice them bigger, you can. It's up to you on how big you want your slice. So I'm just going to kind of go around and make sure I have bite-size pieces. And this is one juicy tomato. I can tell you that for sure. Get this ends over here. Cut just a little bit more of them up. And the salad is so simple. I'll kind of go through it with you as I talk about it, but it's really, really simple. And I've used a spring salad mix, but you can use any type of lettuce, whatever is your favorite. It will make the salad just as good, so just keep that in mind. Got just a little bit more that I want to chop up. And it smells so, so good. And you know, one of my favorite things to eat in the summer is tomato sandwiches, and I really can't wait to start doing that myself, because you just can't beat a good tomato sandwich. All right, so I almost have this already ready to go, and I'm going to let it sit here because I'm going to try to scoop it up and maybe not get as much of the juice too. So we'll see how well I do on that part of it. All right, so we have our tomatoes pretty much sliced up into little bite-sized pieces. So what I want to do is I'm going to build this salad, and it has a really nice dressing on it, and we'll talk about that next. So what I have now is a 15-ounce can of pinto beans and black beans. So what I did is I kind of want to make it where it's not like one after the other. So what I did is I took this and I kind mix them together because I just want it to make it look really pretty on top of the salad. So I'm going to put that on top of the salad first. Just going to kind of move it around. Okay, so I have that. Now, also, you're going to put rice, and it's going to ask about 2 cups of brown rice, but you can use any types of rice. Now, what I have used, and I want to talk about this is an instant rice. So if you're in a hurry and you want to do a salad, and you need some rice besides trying to boil it, this is like a 1-minute rice that you can do in your microwave. So I'm going to sprinkle that on top. And I'm going to sprinkle the other one. Just going to kind of mix it around the beans. Okay, and see I have some onions. This is about two onions, the green onions, and if you want more, you know, please chop up more, but that's about 2. It's going to give it a little nice flavor. And then I'm going to scoop up these tomatoes and put them on top, and I'm going to try my best to drain some of the liquid off. So we're going to put those on top because I really want those to show, since they are one of my favorite things for the salad. And doesn't that look beautiful already? And you know, the good thing about it, if you have a glass dish, you can put it in there and you almost can see almost the layers of the tomatoes too. Get just a little bit more over here. And I'm going to soak up some of my liquid with my paper towel. So we have, and so that's about 4 medium tomatoes that you're going to be using. But if you want more, you are welcome to use more. Now I also have a cup of Kobe Jack cheese, but I'm going to add it toward the end because I really want to make my dressing now. So the dressing is like a key lime dressing. So it's going to give it some little spunk as far as the Mexican salad goes, and a little bit of a taste that will kind of add to it. So what I'm going to add now is, this is about 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. I'm going to see if I can stack this. And I'm going to move that spoon out of the way and maybe move it back this way a little bit. All right, so we have that, and then also, depending on, you know, how much cilantro you want, this is about 1/4 of a cup. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the list. And then the next thing is this hot sauce, and so this depends on how hot you want it. It's going to say 1 to 2 teaspoons of hot sauce. So this is about, I would say maybe a little over a teaspoon, but not much over, because I don't want to make it too hot, but depending on your taste, if you want it hotter, you are welcome to add more. I also have a little bit of minced garlic. So this is about 2 cloves of garlic. So this is minced up. So I'm going to add that. And then also I have a little bit of lime juice. These are like 3 limes. And so if you want more, you can add more. But this is juice from 3 limes. And then also I have already mixed in this bowl right here. This is cumin and a little bit of crushed red pepper and a little bit of salt. It's 1/4 of the hot peppers, the crushed red peppers, like a 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt, and then the cumin is going to be about 1 teaspoon. So I'm going to put that in there. This is going to really add to the flavor. And then you just want to mix this up really well. So I'm going to use my whisk. And if you could just smell this, I love cumin too, and it smells so good. So you're just going to mix this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up pouring this on top, and I'm going to kind of toss it just around with my spoon. All I want to do is kind of add this to where it kind of seeps down into the salad, because I don't want to toss it all through the salad. I want it to where you can kind of get just a good flavor through it. So it smells so good, and this is going to be really good. It's going to taste really good on top of those tomatoes. That's the reason why I kind of wanted to leave it toward the end. But I do want to make sure I get every bit of this dressing out of here. And it just smells so good. All right, so I have a pretty good bit of that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of release some of that down through there, because I don't want to mess my salad up totally. But I do want to kind of release some of the dressing down in there, because, you know, when you spoon your dressing, it's going to come out of the salad anyway. But this just kind of gives it a flavor through there. So I'm just going to kind of work it in like that and kind of release it around the sides. And it's already looking pretty to me just by adding that dressing. So the next thing we're going to add is our cheese. And this is about 1 cup. and this is Kobe Jack, and it's not a strong cheese, but it has a really good texture to it. It's a soft cheese. It grates up really nicely. So I'm just going to add just a little bit more. And now you have a wonderful Mexican salad using those tomatoes to make it just even better. So we'll see you back in just a little bit on Garden of Lights. Welcome back to Garden of Lights. Frank, I have to tell you, the community garden looks really, really good.
We've been doing a lot of work in the community garden. I was just looking at this salad here. We don't have any ripe tomatoes yet, but it looks like some pretty good.
They are really tasty tomatoes right now, and when I was cutting them up, they were smelling pretty darn good. So I'm like you, I'm looking forward to that first tomato off my vine too. And I'll be sneaking up there to see if I can maybe take one from some gardener up there if they'll let me.
We have quite a few tomatoes planted. We'll find out here in another month or so if we're going to be successful.
I know what you mean. Well, this is a Mexican salad, but it's got the tomatoes in it. And it's got a key lime, I saw a key lime, like a lime salad dressing on it. So I'm gonna see if I can do it that way, but I don't think I can. I was gonna try the tongs, but I think I'm going back to my spoon, to the good old spoon. Oops, I just made a little mess there.
All right.
That's okay. It's got a really tasty dressing on it, and it's got rice. Let me give you a little bit more lettuce. And it's got black beans in it.
All right.
It's gonna be really tasty.
Well,
and I try not to make it too hot.
Let me see if all that's true.
But isn't that pretty? Just when you start going into it.
Looks good.
And I see the dressing's kind of already marinated it. That is good.
Yep. We can make a meal out of that.
Uh-huh.
If I can quit talking with my mouth full.
That's okay. That means it's good. That is so tasty. And I like the spring greens. It gives it different flavors, as far as the greens go. That is good. I'm gonna have to fight you for maybe another bowl of that, Frank.
That'll work.
Check out the recipe first, because you're gonna love the recipe. And Frank and I will see you back next time on Garden of Lights.
And don't forget what they always say.